Talk to Joe on 1850 715 815.
51551 text, joe at rt.ie. The state of the nation. Dolores, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joe.
You say workers' rights are putting workers out of their jobs.
Absolutely, Joe.
Where?
Well, last week I listened to all your programmes. Some of it made me cry. And you also had Dennis Judge of the NECI on speaking specifically about...
National Electrical Contractors.
That's right, and registered employment agreements.
Just explain that to people in 12 words or less as only you can.
Okay, that's where a minimum bunch of employers, I think there's only about 50 of them now, get together with the big unions, sit around and say, how much will we pay an electrician? And then they get the other 95% of us, one of which is my husband, and demand he pays that rate. So what we've ended up now as a struggling worker-employer is a 40 or 24-year-old boy from Ballyfermot, lovely lad, earning more than my husband at rates that we can't sustain. So we've nothing for it, Joe. We're going to have to say goodbye. It's desperate. But, you know, he's on the first plane out.
Okay, this registered employment agreement means he gets paid €21 an hour. He must get paid €21 an hour, plus pension contributions.
Yeah, plus PRSI.
Plus PRSI.
Now, he's just come out of his time, which means he's on a first year. The cost of the employer for a 39-hour week is €924.90. Now, here's the key, Joe. We're subcontractors, all right? So we're relying on the big boys who have made this agreement, yeah? We're not at the table because 95% of us have absolutely no say into this. They give my husband work at rates that don't come close to what they've agreed with the TEU. Go figure. So I didn't put this young lad on the plane to Australia. The TEU and the big boys did. And I say, shame on them.
The TU is the Technical Engineering and Electrical Union, and the big developers who did this deal.
So, Joe, can I just make the point?
By the way, would the boy for Ballyfermot work for less?
Oh, of course he would. My God, he's begging me. But then they'd have me in the labour courts and they'd find the bejesus out of me. Oh, no, I can't have that. They've set up these limited companies in order to police the agreement. We pay for that too, the other 95%. So it's a form of enslavement, Joe. It keeps us down, keeps the boys getting money. It keeps them this all came about with this social partnership ship. You know, we know about the developers, we know about the bankers, we know about the government, but there was someone else on the ship that drove into the iceberg here, otherwise known as Ireland, and that was the trade unions. And the workers don't know that. They don't know why they're being put out of work. They're being put out of... What part of the money isn't there do they not understand? I don't understand why they don't understand it. You can't make €10 and pay 12. But nobody... I'm not an economist. I'm not Dave McWilliams. I'm just the wife of a worker-employer electrical contractor. And even I know that one. So I wasn't on the boards of Farce or Foss or all the other boards that these boys sit on, claiming expenses.
The union
and they
reps.
would leave Ivor in the shade, these boys. In the shade they would leave him. And I've just about had enough of it. Someone, somewhere, has got to stop this cartel. Big time, because the slaves are getting angry. They don't want your crumbs from the table. You see, this registered employment agreement actually protects the big guys, because they'll go off, the big boys, and say, oh, well, you see, we've got to pay €21,900 a week for electrician. And then they subcontract the work out. So they've protected their margin. And they subcontract it out at rates that don't come close. I know
what you mean. So they're pricing a job or whatever, or a big development, and they say I'd have 12 electricians, €900 a week for 2 years. That works out at X thousand. But then that's in the bill, in the estimate or whatever, or the quotation. And you say then when they go to hire the electricians from subcontractors like yourself, that means they've no direct responsibilities. They will not pay 900. They will not pay.
Absolutely not. No way. And as I was told just before Christmas, when we were about to lay the lads off because we couldn't get nothing, I worked out the figures, and I said to one of the big guys, who is in with the unions setting these rates, I said, listen, you and I both know I can't pay the guy the rate at this. He said, Dolores, do you want this or not? I haven't got time for this. So I just feel we're slaves. But what I really feel is, people who stand up and profess to protect workers, shame on them. They're putting people out of work.
And we heard people, that was painters last week we were hearing, I think in a builder, they were talking about the number of people in the trades who were going into the black market. They're stopping to pay tax.
Cutting us as well. So this registered employment agreement protects the big boys, keeps their 30% plus margin, forces my guys off on the dole queue or on the plane to Australia, and buffers up the black economy, puts me out of work. All in the name of the workers. All in the name of the economy. This is why we're in the state we're in. The cartels in this country, there's not enough slaves to feed them anymore, Joe. The slaves are all gone.
And is this just in the electrical trade? Is it just the TWU?
No, it's across the building trade.
The building trade, okay.
I mean, I have worked
in trade TWU
before.
were going on strike tomorrow in St James's.
Sure, well, I mean...
I know,
but
they've already been on strike.
It's
today, sorry.
For over 12%. They got nothing. Most of those boys that were on a picket line are probably on the dole now. They're probably on the black economy undercutting my husband. Perfect. Brilliant. Why aren't those lads, when they agreed that rate at St. James's, we were on the pig's back, we were earning the money. We're not now. It's gone, it's over. Why can't they go in and renegotiate with their conciliatory skills? No. It's like you're surrounded by a government on one side, I want your money, I want it now. Trade unions on the other side, I want money, I want your money now. And you've got this employer-worker just going, I said to my husband the other day, listen, forget it, this is all too much. I just can't keep doing these wages. But you earn, at least we can take some sort of a wage. But I know people who spoke to you last week who have not took a wage out of their business for months and years. There's 95% of us. We're banding together. We're joining the NECI and we're going to fight this. Not just for us, but for our workers. Because they're not numbers to us, you see. They're family. Now, here's the situation my apprentice is in. It is gas, isn't it, really? In order for him to keep his over €500 a week, which he's on now, and his pension, and his van, and his diesel, all of which paid for by me, in order to do that, he has to take the government to court. He has to rock up to the Labour Court and tell them, hey, Mr. Labour Court, can I keep my job, please? And they go, oh, no, sure, we have an agreement, don't we? But they can't pay it. I know they can't pay it, you see, because I'm out on the site. It doesn't matter, they'll have to pay it. But then they'll have to get rid of me. Sorry, we have an agreement with a few employers and a big trade union, of which he's not even a member of. I mean, it is ludicrous. Why don't they? 80% of that job out in the airport was subcontracted, Joe. 80% of it tells you everything. Now, we could put a load of these boys back to work by telling the main contractors, the big boys who signed in this unsustainable increase with their mates in the trade union, make no mistake about it, they are very close, they run companies together, and say, we're going to put a law in, you can't subcontract out. 80% of it has to be your own employees. Okay. They won't do that, Joe. That would eat into their margin.
I know the remark, I think it was made by Jerry Beads, the builder and the Fianna Fáil executive member, the remark he made about the workers' car park in Dublin Airport for Terminal 2 was all cars from Northern Ireland. Ty, good afternoon.
How are you, Joe? How are you getting on?
Good. You say it's a bit Irish. What's a bit Irish?
A bit Irish. It all started last July. I was a apprentice electrician, third year. Mm-hmm. I was laid off a week after the strike. Surprise, surprise. Yeah. I was on the dole till April of this year, where I was called for phase 6 of my apprenticeship to Limerick. I went there, passed all my exams, came out. I was on the dole for another 2 weeks when my stamp ran out. You know, you pay your PRSI and you can draw the benefit for a year.
So you had no entitlement, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm 22, I live at home. I'm entitled to €0 a week because my father's a teacher, he earns good money. I don't get a penny off him because I'm 22 years of age. Mm-hmm. I get no money. FOSS aren't helping me. I can't qualify. I have 52 weeks left to work as an apprentice to qualify as an electrician.
I know what you mean.
I've offered to work for free, but as the previous callers were saying, it's illegal for an employer to take me on for free, which I've offered to work to qualify. Yeah. And I can't qualify a job, basically.
So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. I have a job in London or Australia if I go through family. And I have no work here, nothing for me. I just don't know what to do anymore, like.
Isn't that your point, Dolores? Tyg is the living example.
This, as my mother would say, takes Jesus off the cross. It seriously takes him off the cross. What I can't get my head around is the people who are paid by the workers to keep them in a job, to protect them, are actively working against them and putting the likes of Tyg. I spent a day onto Farce, onto the directors. I wanted to go and talk to Foss about how we can deal with the thousands of Tygs. I got one reply back. One. Yeah. But, well, you see, half of the union heads are on the board of Foss. They were all over in Florida. Indeed, the head of the TEU, he was on that Florida trip. You know, and it's the like of Tyg and worker employers like myself who pay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, Foss are doing things at the moment.
My heart goes out to you. I took a lad on the apprentice rotation. He'd only about 6 weeks to do. I begged them. I pleaded with them. They posted my emails on Twitter. People were rocking in saying, I'll pay 100. I'll give you 50, Dolores. Just finish the guy off.
Yeah.
This is what the citizens of this country were prepared to do, while the trade unions, the government, the builders, the bankers hide. That's what I know why they use the government jet, because if they went on Mix Airline Ryanair, they'd be lynched. If I was them, I wouldn't go public. I'd be afraid of my life.
Oh, yeah.
God, I tell you, it's, you know, I tell you what now, Joe. I was reading up that boy, James Larkin, you know, the big boy that was really out for the workers, you know. And he said this thing, one of his quotes, and I quote, I am careful about my conduct because I know this cause requires clean men. They should listen to that and help Tyg out. And go back to Larkin and see and get their arses off the boards of Foss and Aer Lingus and whatever you have in yourself and look after Tyg. That's what they should be doing. And the government should be governing. Instead, we're all drowning. Okay. Shame on them.
Michael, you look after yourself. You're a good man and a good family. And Dolores, you look after yourself.
Will do, Joe.
And Tyg, yeah. I hope things come through for you.
I said I just ring up because I'm happy with just looking for something.
Keep the faith, bro.
I will, yeah. No, but thanks very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And Michael and Dolores and Tyg and all our other callers. Today's programme was produced by Jane Murphy.